what were some of the top challenges that you faced?
No, everything went perfect, Grant. Like, I'm flawless.
It was just 2022. What a magical year. Everything happened as we expected.
I had a crystal ball and it was perfect. No, this year was hard, right? If you had to look at this purely from an investing perspective, right? Last year or even the year before that, it was actually relatively easy to get a lot of things done. Markets were booming. Yes, it had its challenges for different reasons, but on a performance basis, much easier to get results than this year. The notable ones that I'll mention here was like obviously geopolitic related things, and then that leading to inflation and interest rates played a massive factor. Massive factor. Huge. I have a large amount of debt, and when interest rate moves, we notice. It is substantial in our lives. The other one that was really, I suppose, a huge challenge for us on the investing front is that Queensland made some changes to its land tax and how it was going about that. And it's pretty much like they were targeting us. It's pretty much like someone's who's Charley and Bianca, and how can we hit them overwhelmingly hard? So for us, when I think of the investing front, where we were particularly challenged was interest rates, land tax changes, and it really made me think about what we're doing in a different way. Because I had looked at this and gone, we're pretty well protected where we've got some buffers, but I never could have predicted these things to happen. I realized that you really have to accept that anything can happen. You just don't know what's going to be coming at you, and you may feel like you're taking appropriate risk measures, but even then you may not. And I would be lying that if I said right now that when the Queensland land tax thing was particularly going on, there was a bit of stress in the home. We thought we were going to have to move some of our Queensland properties into individual trusts to try and mitigate against some of this. And we were potentially looking at I think it was going to cost us about $50,000 to maneuver the portfolio to do that. And that would have been an unexpected hit. Now, luckily, we would have had the cash to do so. And I will note that those Queensland land taxes have since changed. But I just never considered government risk in this case either.
I found everything that you reflected on, which was the sort of the geopolitical conflict, inflation, interest rates, same for myself. One of the challenges that I had was, I don't know if you'd put it down to knowledge or sort of experience or anything like that, was actually knowing how to react to one of those environments. I look at every situation, I go, every situation people will win. In a down market, there will always be people who are winning, whether they short stock or do whatever they do. There's always
liquidation companies.
Exactly, liquidation companies doing great. And I just looked at it and I'm like, I realized that I'm not as strong at playing this game, albeit I know what to look for and I roughly know how to kind of play it. But I'm really strong at playing the previous game that we were at when it was super low interest rates, super low inflation, all those kind of things. And so now it's okay, well, how do I play in this environment? And so one of the challenges that I had was I just never witnessed it before. And that's why when I gave my score a 6 out of 10, that was one of the things that I'm just well, did I play it right? And the way I would articulate that is every year that you have reviewed how well you have done, imagine it was the last 5 years and you're from an investing perspective, how well have I done? And you probably gave yourself an 8 out of 10 last year maybe. And then this year you look back and you'd be like, wow, there was so much I didn't know in that year. Now I would rate myself a 6 out of 10. But at the time with the information I knew and the knowledge I had, definitely understood why I gave myself an 8 out of 10. Right? It's just because you learnt more, have seen more, and now know how to play situations better, right? And it's only because you get the benefit of hindsight. And I've kind of looked at this year as kind of being 2 years in one. I'm the first half I did great. But the second half, I found a big challenge for myself was how do I perfectly play it? And not perfectly, how do I play it well enough where I'm looking back happy at how I've approached it and the returns that I've got from it?
Well, I will go as far to say that the management system we have today wouldn't be this good if the challenges of the year didn't come. So like I listed this as one of my wins, right? So the wins come from it, which is really interesting. But why we had to level up our management is because, well, if you believe the RBA and rates weren't going up till 2024, right, we didn't need to be as concerned about interest rates. Turns out there's a lesson in listening to the RBA, by the way. Might leave that one there. So like that change of environment forced us to develop better management systems. And it's like, it's interesting that challenges often lead to innovation, which can be really powerful. So like when we've taken hits in business, they can end up being our strengths. The irony being, I only ever started a marketing company because I got screwed over by a marketer. I'm like, not having this happen again. So I'm going to learn this. So it's really fascinating that the challenges end up being the wins in the years after, which I think is really interesting. So
totally.
But to your point, like if you look at the last 3 years, I feel like it was all the same game. So you knew the moves to make or the ways to act. Where in the last 12 months, for example, or this year, as we haven't dealt with an interest rate cycle going up or geopolitical threats or inflation, I actually found myself continually in indecision going, well, because this has happened, do I need to change my plan? Oh, what about now? And I did not enjoy the amount of time I spent in indecision or struggling to know, well, is the RBA the source of truth? Can they really be trusted? Should we be selling a property because of this? Or maybe we should be buying a property because of this. So it opened up a whole different dialogue in the house, and when I say in the house, between Bianca and I, that I would not have expected to happen because of these challenges.
And you actually hit on my second challenge. So my first one was the challenge around like knowledge and experience around how do I play this. My second one was what I've defined as my reaction to it. Like, am I happy with the reaction that I had? Where the way that Hazel and I played it was we just basically retracted. We said, cool, retract, go hard on business, and just make as much cash flow as possible, and we'll just figure ourselves out. As basically, it's like
pause
retract
there.
And evaluate.
Well done, by the way. We did pretty well in business. Not to spoil the next episode, but it's been a great year in business, the irony. So maybe we needed these challenges in investing to go, time to make some cash.
To go harder in business. And so for me, one of my challenges was the knee-jerk reaction. Because it's like, how difficult is it when everything around you is saying prices are going up, prices are going down, interest rates are going up, inflation's going up, like, oh, let's go and buy another property. Like intuitively, to someone who's never faced that situation, like my immediate reaction is like, bullshit. Like, no. Like, what do I
Your
need?
investor psychology may not have been where you thought it was then? Did you think you were mentally stronger as an investor, and then when the environment occurred, you go, oh shit, I'm not?
Wait, so my knee-jerk reaction was like, if we were looking to buy a house at that time, I probably would have hit pause on it just to get a rough lay of the land for myself, go and look at my own data and make my own opinion outside of what other people are trying to push down my throat. I was more looking at my reaction on going, why did I have that knee-jerk reaction? It's like in the story where you've shared previously when you were invested in a company and then you saw a negative news story, you're like, sell. Like, it's like, get me out. And that was like the first knee-jerk reaction was just like...
You're talking about my epic success as a day trader.
Correct. That was me shooting shots. Hope you enjoyed it. And so my knee-jerk reaction was like, no. And I'm a very strategical thinker, so I will retract and reevaluate before I go again next, where some of the best wins that we've had is when my reaction to that scenario is immediate. So it's like, I know what's going to happen. I know how to play this. Let's go straight for it. Like, you know, like that fight or flight. I was like, it's like a fight or reflect. It's like, what do I do in this situation? And then, that was only quite short for us. And then it was like, great, let's go harder in business, make money, because I have no idea what's going to happen to the economy even over the next 6, 12 months. I've got ideas, but again, my ideas aren't always
going to be right. It's the uncertainty, right? The uncertainty makes it a very interesting dynamic.
And so then the decision was, well, let's focus on earning. And if we miss out on a good buying opportunity, we will accept that. And so, I'm just going to have to wear that risk of just not going hard during the current environment. But that was like our knee-jerk reaction was like, wait, retract. And then we made the decision of like, let's hold off. And so for me, like that was a big challenge for someone who just loves having his foot hard down on the accelerator. I was just like, and go. Because you know how to play most situations. Like any situation in business, I'm pretty good at it because I've seen most of them. But in this environment, I'm like, oi, how do I react? And so I found that as a big challenge. Was my second one was like my reaction. Like it's like, how do you react to this? Straight out. Hey, fellow business owner, if this topic and value-packed short video has resonated with you at all, and you want to dive deeper into creating wealth inside and outside your business, check out the full episode by clicking the link on your screen or in the description right now.